Our next speaker this morning is Harry Partridge. Harry has been instrumental in the formulation of the new office and our new programs, and he's going to be talking to us about the game-changing program. Harry? No, I'm sorry. He's going to be talking to us about the tech research grants. My apologies. Harry.
Well, good morning. Pleasure to be here today. I'm Harry Partridge. I'm going to talk to you about the Space Technology Research Grants Program. A lot of people have been involved in the formulation of this program, but I'd like to especially acknowledge the work done by Claudia Meyer and Howard Ross in formulating and developing this program. And let me see if I can figure out how to work this. So the Space Technology Research Grants is part of the Early Stage Innovations Division. The idea of this is that we want to do is develop technologies, accelerate the development of technologies, hopefully infuse those technologies into NASA missions. It is a low TRL level technology investment development program. I'd like to contrast this with the NIAC just briefly, and you'll hear more about that in the next talk. The NIAC is a systems concept, and it's also a low TR level looking at concepts. This differs in that we are a technology development program, so they're fairly short-term technology development efforts. And sorry about that one. So the objective of this program is will be to accelerate the development of push technologies to support future space science and exploration needs of both NASA, other government agencies, and the commercial space sector. I'd like to emphasize that this is complementary to the other Mission Directorate technology programs. They're more pull technologies, even though they can be very low TR level technology programs also, typically they're higher, they're pull technologies. So this program is slightly different, but it is complementary to their programs. It doesn't replace their programs. There are two components to the Space Technology Research Grants program, and this causes some confusion because the names overlap a little bit. There are two components. They're both competitively awarded, but there's a grants program and a fellowships program. They're both crucial to this program. They're both fundamental to it, and they're roughly equal in magnitude on a funding level. So the grants program is a low TRL technology program focused on space technology. The PIs for this thing will be by academia, the NASA field centers, or not-for-profit research labs. And examples of those are things like the Lincoln Labs, APL, Draper. Industry, small businesses, and other government agencies can participate, but they're not going to be the PIs on this one. This one's directed at academia, the field centers, and the not-for-profits. The fellowships is to sponsor graduate students, the U.S. citizen or permanent residents of the U.S., who show significant promise in developing, and so we try to build them into the technology program so they can benefit NASA. It's a student-centric program, and I'll try to explain what I mean about that. We're trying to encourage them to work in technology. Gives them lots of opportunities to explore a community, not just at a single NASA center. So I think it's going to be a very beneficial, rewarding program. The Level 2 office for this program is going to be at Glenn Research Center. In addition, the announcements, the NRAs, we will use NSPIRES for both the grants and the fellowships program. When the calls come out, will be on the OCT website, which you've been given the website for. In addition, it will be under NSPIRES, and you can register for an NSPIRES and then ask for emails, and it will give you the email. It'll send you when the announcement comes out. You'll get the email that the thing has been released, since the release dates for these is still currently unknown. So these are relatively open calls. They're fairly broad. We're looking for ideas, for technology ideas. They're fairly short-term awards. The typical award is going to be 12 months and $250,000. with the maximum period of performance being 2 years and $400,000 per year. So in other words, you could get up to $800,000 in a 2-year investment effort. But they are typically going to be fairly short term. They are all competitively awarded. There'll be external peer reviews involving both academia and NASA reviewers. We expect approximately 100 awards per year. There are no preset internal, external distributions. There are no preset quotas for topic areas. Okay, we're looking for the best ideas that we can award. We expect there to be, in general, 1 solicitation per year. The date may change, but initially it's going to be in the December timeframe. For FY11, we hope to have an inaugural second award period if we can get permission to release that, and that we would hope to start those as early as January 2011. So from when the release date goes on, the typical solicitation schedule is it'll take about 5.5 months to put those contracts in order, is what we're expecting. Okay, after the release date, you need about 2 months. You have about 2 months in order to prepare the proposal, and have another 2 months then for us to evaluate the proposal and announce the selections. We expect to give feedback on all proposals that are not selected, and we again hope to have the awards in place within about 6 months. So what are we looking for? We're looking for technologies that, if successful, would lead to a dramatic improvement at the system level for some future NASA mission. By that we mean some improvement in performance, mass, cost, reliability, operational simplicity, or any other metric that is relevant to the technology that you're developing. Through this investment, we're looking for revolutionary technologies or disruptive technologies. We're looking for cross-cutting technologies that can contribute new approaches for not only for space applications, but also for other national needs. For instance, things in the energy level, things that would impact commercial space technology. And space technology itself is very broad. It covers almost all aspects of anything you would do for robotic or manned missions. So it is a very broad area, and we're not trying to limit that or what we're soliciting for the ideas for. And we try to show that on this slide, and it is sort of a cloud here. We're not trying to be very specific and categorize what we're looking for. These are just some examples of things that might be of interest. There are no fixed explicit quotas, no allocation, and everything is competitively selected. So now I'll switch to the fellowships. The fellowships are competitively awarded. It is, again, I'll come back and say we tried to make it as student-friendly approach as we can. We'll support both master students for up to 2 years, PhD students for 4 years. And the goal here is to stimulate the pipeline of students interested in aerospace and to space technology and technology in general, to really infuse the future workforce for both NASA and the aerospace industry and the technology industry in the country. The majority of the fellowships will be aligned with the academic year of the typical graduate student. The application process is similar to what many students would do in applying for graduate school, so we tried to simplify that process. And I'll go through that a little bit on the next slide. And we're going to try to infuse, there's a mentorship at either at one of the NASA centers or one of the not-for-profit research labs. And we're trying to make that an agency-wide, country-wide approach, not a very local or center-specific approach. So the awards are fairly generous. It includes funding for both the student, for the student support, for his tuition. It includes a faculty allowance to enhance the student's opportunities at the At his university. It includes funding to pay for him to go to typically would be a summer program, even though it's not limited to the summer, so he can get a research experience at other sites. For students who are there for multiple years, there's the opportunity for them to go to many more than one university. They could go, for instance, to a not-for-profit lab 1 year, to a NASA research center another year, and yet another center the following year. So they get a broad experience to encourage them in technology development, expose them to the aerospace community. If we can, we'll have an inaugural call where we would award in January, but typically this process is going to be aligned with the academic year. So for graduate students typically apply in the October-November timeframe. I believe that most of the applications are due by December, January. We'll announce the fellowships at about the time that the students are hearing from graduate schools. Students can apply to this grant from more than one university, and I'll come to a little more in the next slide here, I think. So, fellowship details. So we have the student, he'll have a university advisor, and he'll have a professional advisor, and this will be somebody from one of the NASA centers or for one of the not-for-profit labs. The application is, again, it's very similar to what you would use for applying for graduate school. He would describe the educational area, his academic goals, and emphasize that this is not, at this point, a research plan. He does not need to develop that. That would be developed during his first quarter or first semester in school. The evaluations on this would be academic excellence, the field of study, the relevance, the promise for doing research in the technology development area. Again, this program would, by doing this, will infuse a lot of students into technology, hopefully encourage some students to go into graduate school. It will also foster collaborations across the entire technology development community. We expect to award approximately 350 of these in FY11 fellowships, growing to about 500 students per year in FY12 and on. So we'll have up to 500 students. So it is a substantial program. It fosters the collaboration between the professional advisor at the NASA research centers or the nonprofit labs, the R&D labs, and the university and the students. So I think it's a win-win situation all the way around for the students and for NASA. So in concluding remarks, the Office of the Chief Technologist looks forward to your participation in both the grants and the fellowships components of the Space Technology Research Grant Program. We are looking forward to an exciting influx of ideas and students, and hopefully many of these will develop into game-changing and cross-cutting technologies that will be infused into NASA missions. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow in the breakout session, and I'll be willing to follow up anytime, and I would be more than happy to answer questions.
Thank you. I'm Lori Naismith with the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, and we are affiliated with the Virginia Spaceflight Academy, which reaches junior high school students. It's a summer program, 1 week long. It's a residential camp where the students get a exposure to a broad spectrum of aerospace. And this is more of an idea to think about. I know that Alabama has got a space camp. There are a number of these space camps that target junior high school students as opposed to the university students. But if there's some way that your program could step into the K through 12 level as well, and maybe give a grant to a fellow that could come up with an innovative way to tie all these younger students together through fostering their ideas from their space camps, I just wanted to put that out there for something to think about, to go even a little deeper beyond the college and university level.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.